All right, guys, we are moving forward with more formulas today. Guys, pay attention. The quiz we took was over the 3 easy formulas. Easy to tell when to use them. The other 3 we're going to learn, it's not as easy to tell. Some of you will be just fine, but if you struggled on the first 3, you're in a world of trouble because the first 3 were obvious which ones to use. They said simple interest, they said APY, or they said it compounded. It should have been really easy to tell which one. So if you were not clear on those 3, you need to sign up for success. You've got to stay in here. You've got to sit with me and go over this. I don't know what else to say to you. I've gone through these time and time and time again. I don't know what else to do if you can't tell which one to use. Okay? But we're adding on to them today. So compound interest, if you look on there, it says future value of a single deposit. Right? That's another name for it. We're going to work today on future value of a periodic deposit. So what's it mean if it's a single deposit? I put it in once. I put money in, $10,000, put it in my account one time, and it just sits there and just builds interest. That's all it is. But if it's periodic deposit, I am putting in the same amount of money on a regular basis, every week, every month, every year. Like I'm always putting that amount in, which is like what I do. Like when I get paid every paycheck, a certain amount is automatically put into my checking account. A certain amount is automatically put into another account, and then the rest of it goes into my main account I use every day. But that way, it automatically, every time I get paid, puts money into my savings. Okay? So that would be one of those periodic people, which we're doing today. Okay. So kind of backtracking to that other formula, the compound interest, told you guys is also a future value of a single deposit. Okay? Now, if you look, this is future value. If you look at your formula sheet, the 2 bottom ones say present value. You're going to have to really read carefully. And some of you you still use simple interest when it didn't say simple interest. You've got to read carefully. Okay, for here, if it's asking you for the future value, it may use those words, it may not. It may just say, how much money will you have? Well, if I'm talking about how much money I will have, is that in the future or is that presently? It's in the future. It's in the future. In the future, 10 years down the road, how much will I have? 20 years down the road, how much am I going to have? That's a future value. Notice the formula starts with B equals. What's B stand for? Your balance. Balance means how much money is in that account. Okay? So if I look at first problem, maybe. There we go. Jimmy invests $4,000 in an account that pays 5% interest compounded semi-annually. What is his balance to the nearest cent at the end of 10 years? Elena. Okay, now this, I do have it labeled as review, and I have the formula on there that we're using, but I want you to start to recognize some pieces of this, okay? I know it's not simple interest. Why? It does not say the word simple interest. How I can make that more clear. If it doesn't say simple interest, I don't want that formula, okay? It doesn't say APY, I don't want that formula. So the hardest part of all of this are these bottom 4, because they all compound. You can no longer go with it just says compound, so I just choose the compound formula. All of these. Look at all these formulas, all 4 of these. You see the N on all of them? N stands for how many times it was compounded. They all compound. But you have to read carefully. This one says I invest $4,000 in an account. How many times did I put the 4,000 in? Just once. It doesn't say I invested $4,000 each year, $4,000 a month. I just invested 4,000 one time. Okay? So that's where this formula, I know I use it. Look at the title of it. Okay? So as you're trying to decide, as we get going through all of these formulas, I have future value of a single deposit, future value of a periodic deposit. Okay? Because it's asking me what will be his balance. Now look at the bottom 2. Are they solving for balance? No. So if the question's asking you what is the balance, I'm not going to use a formula that doesn't solve for balance. I don't know if you guys have recognized, but these 4 formulas, I'm not going to ever, like, simple interest is I equals. I would give you other parts and, like, give you the interest and make you solve for other variables. I'm not going to do that here. Do you see these in crazy formulas? You would have logarithms and everything else to solve these for other variables. I'm not doing this, you guys. Okay? So for these formulas, you are just solving for exactly what it says it's solving for. Does that make sense? So and this one's asking, what is the balance? I need to use a formula. that's going to start with B equals, so I can figure out what the balance is. All right, and I'm only putting money in one time, right? This is a one-time deposit, so it's a single deposit. Just trying to get you used to reading through these, picking out these keywords to tell which formula. That's the trickiest part, is knowing which formula. All right, so I did put the formula up here for you. So B equals my principal, which is 4,000, 1 plus my rate, 0.05. What's N stand for? How many times is compounded? Right now, on your formula sheet, if you are somebody who cannot remember what N stands for, write it down. N equals number of times compounded per year. Yes. Okay, what about semi? That's 2. So guys, on your formula sheet, could we write some of these on here? N equals number of times compounded per year. And then you may put underneath here, just to try to help yourself out a little bit, right? If it's semi-annually, that's 2 times. What about yearly? Once. Monthly. Daily. Weekly. Those are some of the main ones that you probably see the most often. No. Nope. All right, so in this case, semi-annually is twice. Okay, and looking at your formula, it's NT, so 2 times 10, or 20. Correct. For that calculator, you'd have to put in a 20 or an extra set of parentheses. Yeah. APY has the -1. Yeah, again, look at your formula sheet. I know the APY and that one looks similar. APY has just an N. This one has an NT. APY has a -1. This one does not. All right, so grab your calculator. Let's type it in. All right, give everybody a chance to type things in, guys. A lot of today is going to be walking around, me checking to see that you're typing stuff in right, because we're going to get a bigger formula today. So it's B equals $6,554.47. Now let's talk, because I saw numerous people do this wrong on the quiz. Numerous people wrote the formula. It was beautiful. I saw that on their paper, and they added 4,000 to that and told me 10,000. You know what I think part of the problem is? You guys aren't writing the formula down. You're not writing B equals $6,554. Because what's B stand for? The balance, not interest, balance. So do I have to actually figure out what the balance is now? Do I have to add something to that? I don't. I solve for the balance. Now, if I asked you for the interest, because I saw a lot of you went back to simple interest, which is a big no-no. It does not say simple interest. If I wanted the interest, what would I do? I would just subtract. Yep. For interest, I'm going to take the 65, 54, 47, and I'm just going to subtract the amount I started with. For the interest, it would be 2,554.47. Because you got to stop and think, guys. I know I'm asking you to think. I'm so sorry. I need you to think. I think so often, you guys, and it's really partially no fault of your own. You've been brought up in a math curriculum that says, I do steps A, B, C, D, I get answer. And you've stopped thinking. This class is real world. You need to stop and think what you have. If I have a balance of $6,500 and I started with 4,000, how much of that was interest? You just subtract them, find the difference. Okay? All right, so this is not new, right? This is our old stuff. Okay, the new part, though, is I'm going to be putting money in more than once. So many people add money to their savings accounts on a regular basis, which is exactly what I do. Out of every paycheck, automatically goes into my savings account, and one goes into an account that just pays my mortgage. Automatically, we don't even think about it. All right, so periodic investments are the same deposits made at regular intervals, yearly, monthly, weekly, or even daily. So as we go through these, just to kind of simplify this class, because otherwise you get all kinds of craziness going on. If I tell you that I am depositing it weekly, it will also be compounded weekly. Okay? They will match. However often I'm putting it in will also be how many times it's compounded. Because otherwise it's a hot mess. We're not even going to touch in here. All right, so here's this beautiful formula. Isn't it pretty? If you are a scientific calculator person, which, Haley, are you the only one now that's kind of went to that? Because, well, Harley, yours acts like the graphing one does when you type stuff in. So I think it's just you, Haley. Haley would, oh, and Aaron. So those of you who are scientific people, you would need an extra set of parentheses here and here. And for you guys, you cannot type in, ever use the fraction button on yours. That's what I'm saying. You can do them with scientific, but they become a hot mess with parentheses. Okay? Scientific calculators don't like a fraction with rate's always a decimal. It won't let you put a decimal in a fraction on those calculators. The graphing ones are like, that's fine. So if you were a graphing person, we don't need extra parentheses. We're good. But is there any variables on here that we've not already seen? No, they're all the same. All right. So Rich and Laura are both 45 years old. They open an account at the FST Savings Bank with the hope it will gain enough interest by their retirement at the age of 65. They deposit $5,000 each year. So here's where you need to read carefully. So my principal is 5,000, right? That's my P. But you have to recognize they are putting it in each year. So are they putting it in a single amount of times or a periodic number of times? Periodic. They are constantly putting money in. So that's how I know it's not just the regular compound, right? It's going to be the periodic deposit one. All right. It pays 4.5% interest. It is compounded annually. Annually is going to be what number? N equals 1. What is the account balance when Rich and Laura retire? So for today, simple interest, APY, again, if it doesn't say those words on them, I'm not even touching those formulas. So I'm looking at then, is it going to be future value of a single or future value of a periodic? And this one is periodic because I'm putting money in more than once. So looking at my formula, B equals, all right, be very careful, write the formula down. Don't just type it in your calculator, okay? So my principal is 5,000. And then there are 2 parentheses. Does everyone see there are 2? You need both. It is not an error that you need both. 1 plus my rate, 0.045. N is 1. Close parenthesis. 1 times, what's the time? It is 20. Good, because they were 45, and I want to know when they retire at 65. So this is a difference of 20 years. Okay, minus 1, close parenthesis, and I got a giant fraction, and then divided by 0.045 over 1. So this is where you grab your calculator. Now, everybody stop, don't type anything in yet. Make sure everybody's at the same place as me. So the very first thing you're going to want to type into this, anybody know? I need the fraction. Yep. Green button, y equals, enter. You want to start with the fraction. So green button, y equals, enter. Bring that fraction in. Then I can go ahead and try typing this in. So go ahead, after you type in fraction first, green button, y equals, enter. Now go ahead and start typing it in. So your 5,000, don't forget it's 2 parentheses. Yeah. No. So if you look at the formula down there, see it's the P's in front, and then there's 2 parentheses after it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the answer up. You guys try it. Let me know if you don't get what I get, and I'll come around and help you out. So we should get $156,857.11. If you do not get that, let me know. All right, guys, take a look. I want you to look at your answer because some people freak out and they're like, they put $5,000 in and they end up with $156,000. How often are they putting $5,000 in? Every year. So you got to take that into consideration. So how much have they actually put in on their own? Let's talk about that. So they put in $5,000 a year for how many years? For 20 years. So they put in how much? 100,000. No, it's still really good, but the reason I bring that up is because of part B, or number 2. How much interest will Rich and Laura earn over the 20-year period? Did it say simple interest? No, it did not say simple interest. So take a look here, guys. We need to stop and think. They put in $5,000 every year for 20 years. So they actually put in $100,000. So how much interest did they actually earn?
56,000.
So I take their final balance, and I'm going to subtract the 100,000 that they put in. So they actually earned, still really good though, $56,857.11 in interest. This is different. Normally, we would just take however much, like the p-value, subtract it, you'd be good to go. But you got to stop and think. They're putting it in periodically. So you really have to think how much they're putting in. Yes? Yeah, that's part of your exponent is n times t. Yep, n times t. Yeah, the n is on there actually 3 times. Yeah. It should be the same. Yep. Kurt. Thanks, Kurt. You're going to sit him on that empty desk for now. I'll take care of him. Thank you. All right. Number 3, Linda and Rob open an online savings account that has a 3.6% annual interest rate compounded monthly. If they deposit $1,200 every month, how much will be in the account after 10 years? So stop and think. Did it say simple interest? Did it say APY? Are they putting the money in once, or are they putting it in many times? Multiple times. They are depositing, if they deposit $1,200 every month, that is not a single deposit, that is a periodic deposit. They are putting it in over and over and over. So therefore, it is that formula. So B equals my principal, 1,200, makes a big difference. 2 parentheses, 1 plus, good, 0.036 over, how many, it says that is compounded monthly, which is 12. 12 times 10, because it says 10 years. Close parenthesis. No. All right, so again, start with the fraction. That's probably the hardest thing to remind yourself is to start with that fraction. All right, again, type it in. I want to make sure, if you can't use your calculator, you're in a world of trouble. Yeah, correct. All right, so working through here, you should get a balance of $173,022.87. Some of us need to work on our rounding. All right, take a look at number 4 now, guys. How much interest will Linda and Rob earn over the 10-year period? So now be careful. Last time they only put it in every year. Now they're putting it in every month. So, yes. So they are putting in 1,200 per month. So right now, if I just do 1,200 times 12, what is that telling me? That's how much they put in a year. And then how many years? Times 10. So you have, again, I'm asking you to stop and think for a minute. They're putting in $1,200 every month. So that's 1,200 times 12. That will tell you how much they put in for a year. And then they drew in that for 10 years. So they put in $144,000 all on their own. So this is what they deposited. Guys, I am tired of fighting the talking. If you don't want to learn, you can leave. Otherwise, stop talking. Is there a question on how I got 144,000? Okay, so then we already found their ending balance. Subtract off what they put in. So they earned $29,022.87 in interest. You got to stop and think how much they actually put in. It wasn't just $1,200. I see people subtract just $1,200. They put in more than $1,200. A whole lot more than $1,200. Yeah. Yeah, they put $1,200 in every month for 10 years. It's a long time. All right. Questions so far? Please ask if you don't know. What part do you not understand, hon? Okay, so just the calculator, just getting used to typing. Okay, we'll get lots of practice on that. Even. Just stop and think how much they're putting in. I said they put in $1,200 every month, right? So $1,200 every month for 10 years. So how many months is in? And then for 10 years. So if I had said they'd put it in weekly, you would do 1,200 times 52 times 10. Yep. All right. Number 5, Robbie opens an account at a local bank by depositing $100. The account pays 2.4% interest compounded weekly. He deposits $100 every week for 3 years. Okay. Again, you need to read carefully because every problem from here on out will use the words compound. They all will. Every formula, the bottom 4 formulas all have an end value in them, which is compounded. So you have to look at, okay, so 2.4%, that is my interest, right? That's your rate. It's compounded weekly. What's weekly? That's 52. And he deposits $100. That's my P. Every week. Every week he's depositing it. So you need to stop and think, am I putting it in a single deposit or a periodic deposit? It's periodic. I'm putting it in every week. So how much is in the account after 3 years? All right, I'm going to go ahead and do it up here. You guys do it on your own, and we'll see if we get the same answer. I'm not even going to say anything else. Good. Do me a favor. Instead of this whole, what is the balance after 2 years? I don't care about that question. Tell me the interest. That's fine. Leave it on there. Just add another part in there. Highlight what you want to delete and hit the delete button. D-E-L. Arrow back over to it. If you just arrow back over. That's because you're hitting clear, not delete. Yeah, literally, when I said hit delete, I meant the delete button, not the clear button. Clear erases everything. Delete will just delete whatever it's highlighted on. That's why. Guys, start to finish. Come on. You guys struggled with the easy stuff. I need you to pay attention and focus. I changed part B to say how much interest did he earn. Does it say simple interest? I'm going to start getting real obnoxious about that. Does it say simple interest? Don't use it. Good. If it doesn't say simple interest, don't use simple interest. I don't know how many more times I can say that. Guys, I don't want to be mean about it, but at the same time, I don't know how many times I can tell you. If it doesn't say simple interest, don't use it. I don't know how to make that more clear. I don't know how to make that any more clear. Yes. But it's $100 in the account every week for 3 years. I crossed that off. No. It's pretty low interest rate, 2.4. Yes, I changed the question. I said it like 4 times. I crossed it off. I cannot help it. You guys don't pay attention or listen. I don't know what else to say to you guys today. I verbally said it numerous times. I wrote it on the board. I crossed it off. If you don't listen or look, I can't help it. I can't do it by smell, so I don't know what to tell you. Try and hit your senses here. Upside the head. Okay, good. I did. Guys, let's talk through this. Oh, you got it. That was a happy slam? Oh, I thought that was a mad slam. So part A, just plugging things in your formula, 16,171.46. Did anyone not get that? Okay, I do want to help you. Don't be frightened of me because I get frustrated with you, but I do want to help you. All right, part B, I changed the question on B to ask how much interest he earns. You got to stop and think, how much money did they put in? $100 every week, so 52, for 3 years. We got that? So they put in 15,600, so you just subtract that. So I only earned 571.46. That's over almost 600 bucks in 3 years. That's not bad, right? I only put in 100 bucks a week. It's not as much as some people. All right, last one. Suppose $600 is deposited into an account every quarter. The account earns 5% interest compounded quarterly. What is the future value of the account after 5 years? All right, everybody look. See part B? What am I going to do? Does everybody see I'm crossing it off and changing it?
Or you can a squared and b squared.
It is. How much interest did he earn? I've got to make sure you guys are understanding this. So when I just give you this on a test and you have all 6 formulas in front of you, does it say simple interest? Does it say APY? Kurt, stop it. Okay? I'm not using those because it doesn't say those words. All 4 of the other ones use compound in them, so I can't go by that. How many times am I putting money in? It is deposited into an account every quarter. What's quarterly? That's 4. All right, 5% interest, that's my R. It is compounded quarterly. That's 4. What is the future value of the account? That was nicely asked, wasn't it? What's the name of that formula? Future value was actually asked that way. The other way it could have asked it was, what is the ending balance, or how much money will be in the account in 5 years? Looking into the future, how much money will I have? So B equals 600, 2 parentheses, 1 plus 0.05 over 4, close parenthesis, 4 times 5 is my exponent, minus 1, close parenthesis, on the bottom, 0.05 over 4. And that is a beautiful, fun thing to type into my calculator. Honestly, guys, the more we do this, you will get so fast at typing these in. You really will. All right, so the balance equals $13,537.79. Watch your rounding. Talk to me. Anybody not able to get that on your calculator? Did you do it again? It's like every point you missed on that quiz. Rounding. Yeah, it says 0.787. So I'd round up 79. Nope, don't care. Although, real quick, before I change that, it said 3 years. If I was going to ask you to find that, what's the only thing in that formula that would change? The N? The T. So could you, instead of retyping this whole thing, just go back up into it and just change that 5 to a 3? Yeah, you could. If you don't know how to do that, just type it all in again. At this point, I'm not going there. All right, so how much interest did he earn? So we put $600 in how many times? 4 times for how many years? Do we see how that works? $12,000. That's what he deposited. So 13,537.79 minus 12,000. Yeah, I don't know why I'm typing that in. 1,500. I know. That's easy math to do in your head, and I totally wasn't. All right. How do you know when to use simple interest? How do you know when to use APY? You see why those should be the easy ones, right? They should be. How do you know when to use future value of a single deposit? Don't look at the word compounded. When there's one deposit, I'm depositing it once. Will it specifically say I deposit it one time? It'll just say I deposited $500 into an account. But it doesn't say I deposited $500 every month. I deposited $500 every year, right? Like it will just say I deposited $500. Like it won't specify. If it just says like that, I just did it one time. But then if it's periodic deposit, it will specify how often you deposit every quarter, every month, every day, whatever it is. Yes, for our class, yes, it will be the same. But it will also specifically tell you what it is compounded. It will tell you.